Welcome back to JOJ. It is the new year, so we've had a little bit of time off. We kind of, took pretty much December mostly, not really doing a whole lot of filming or, fishing anything. So it's been nice.
Been very nice, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them the background story of how we had our stuff together, but we don't?
Yeah, sure. We'll go through that real quick before we jump into what this book is. Jennie was ahead of schedule. Ordered some books, devotionals back in early December.
Probably October. It was October because I can no longer return them to Amazon.
Okay, so she'd ordered them even in October and was like, "Hey, we've got these. We'll be all set." We had several to give away, and it got to about December 28th, and I was like, "Well, let me look at one of these, just kind of get a feel for it. How it's going to look." It was not what we needed. It was not the structure of what our book was last year. And
I think it's a good book to do personally. It's more of a prayerful devotional. Which I'll give the ones that I have away. So if you want to do something like that, with this along with it, or just do that one, because it's just not laid out. It's not a very good conversation starter, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
We both kind of read it and we're like, this is what our JOJ will be used.
Okay. Yeah, because I read through a couple of them and I was like, I don't know what to say.
So then I read them and I'm like, yeah, me neither.
So we opted off. So I ended up going through and looking and finding 3 different devotionals, and I'm on order of one of each of them, and one of them will be good. I think they're all 3 actually pretty good. So we may have the next 2 years after this one already ready to go.
We might be really ahead of schedule. But it's been kind of hard to get this one. We are currently sharing this one still. I have one more coming, and then we have another follower, that same one last year, had donated 12 books for us to give away as well. He was able to order some. Those are on the way, and then they were sold out when I went to order more. So he may have bought them all. But I don't know if I'm not sure. I haven't really researched. I don't know if this is a new book, and so it's just not, or if it just is that good that everybody's bought them. So as soon as we get some more, or have those in hand, I will definitely give some away. We'll do that in a story or something. You want to tell them what it is?
Yeah, but God's Purpose for Your Life is what the title of this devotional is. And it's by Charles Stanley. I've watched some of his sermons and stuff, and heard some of his speaking online and on social media and stuff. But God's Purpose for Your Life. I think that's a pretty good. The title of it in and of itself is pretty good for a devotional, and for kind of what we, the design of what we like to do with JOJ, with the way we've been going through a devotional book, is that self-application of Scripture, and so that's God's Purpose for Your Life by Dr. Charles Stanley is what this one is. So 2 weeks in to the new year. This will be January 14th.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you want me to read?
Yeah.
Okay, you handed me the book. So.
I did.
Okay. Hopefully there's no big words. The title is Weavings, and the Bible verse is Psalm 139:13. You formed my inward parts, you wove me in my mother's womb. God sees your potential, no matter how young or old you are, your abilities or infirmities. Your Creator sees what is possible through your life. You are His masterpiece, a work conceived in grace and love, and if you allow Him to, He will weave the circumstances of your life together in such a way that He receives the glory, and your heart will be full. For many people, this is a hard concept to grasp because of the messages and setbacks they've received throughout their lives. Perhaps today you see your life as incomplete or without much worth. It could be that the physical, relational, financial, or other personal challenges make you feel hopeless. But God views you from a totally different perspective. When He sees you, He sees a person He loves, of worth and great promise. Take heart that your every frustration and disappointment has a purpose, and your God will weave all these circumstances together for your good if you will love and trust Him. Therefore, do not despair. Instead, trust Him and let Him make you into the person He knows you can be. Are we reading the prayer thing?
I think we should, And one slight difference with this particular book, of course, it's got a verse to start with, then it's got the commentary part. But then instead of ending with another quote, it actually ends with a prayer at the end of it.
Yeah.
So.
Jesus, you know my life and still call me to you. Thank you for giving me hope and continuing to work out your plan for my life. Amen.
So the fact that what it mentions in that prayer right there, and that's and it's also kind of what is mentioned there in that verse in Psalm. Jesus, you know my life and still call me to you. Mm-hmm. He knows our inward parts. He wove us in our mother's womb. He knows us inside and out, and he still loves us, mm-hmm. and he still calls us to him. He still wants that relationship. He wants us to have that relationship with him, and that's, to me, that never gets old, hearing that or mm-hmm. knowing that about God, that even though he knows us, he still loves us and he still wants that relationship with us. That's a hard thing.
To just kind of grasp. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's different for you being male and female. God makes us all different. But I think, at least me personally, maybe not all women, but I think a lot of times we're in our heads so much. It's so easy for the devil to be like, oh, you're not good enough here. You're not, in this aspect, maybe it's a mom job, whatever. Mm-hmm. Or you don't feel pretty enough here, or you're not working hard enough here, or I think it's just so easy, I guess maybe comparative, being comparative in the world that we live in. Yeah,
comparative, and you focus on your weaknesses or places where you feel less than.
Yes.
Those stick out to you. And it I think it's different mm-hmm. things.
Well, and I even think too, how many times do I look at you and I'm like, ooh, why do you love me? Because it's hard for me to grasp. Sometimes I can be really mean. Or grumpy, I'm going to say, not mean. How would you say it?
Grumpy.
Yeah.
Grumpy was one of yours.
Yeah. And I'm sure he feels that way too.
I don't know.
How can you love me, babe?
Yeah, sometimes maybe. I think as men, our worries or concerns are providing for our family, or are we doing a good enough job of that? Are we being the leader at home that we should be? Are we, being the head of the household mm-hmm. the way that was, for me, those are the things that I think of.
Yeah.
And then
I'm I'm not pretty enough for him.
And I've told you plenty of times that you are, so it's not changed.
I know, it's just different things.
It is, but that's the difference, I think, in men and women, is that those concerns, those what we see as shortcomings in ourselves, they're there, but they're just different.
Yeah, and comparing God loving us through all of our faults, or I think for us, obviously we have kids, and when they mess up, I take it personally. I'm like, why did I teach them to do that? Are they that way because of me? So I wonder how God feels sometimes whenever, if we make bad choices, is he looking at us well, I know I did better than that.
Right.
So it actually makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Because
you realize
the best thing in the world made us. So
well, not the best thing in the world.
Well, you know what I mean.
The one that made the world.
Yes, the one that made the world. We were created by the Almighty, and we still mess up. So it always brings it back to perspective for me. If I'm frustrated mm-hmm. with a kid for whatever it could be, whether it's personality trait or just, making a bad choice, it's okay.
It's they come by it honest. They got it from their mother. Or their Nana, even, at that point.
Let's play Nana. She's not ever going to watch this. We'll play Nana and Mimi.
Yeah. It's in their bloodlines.
Yes, so. It's in their bloodlines. But no. So, it's just a pretty... It's always a good way to go back and put your life back in perspective. Mm-hmm. Is, when you're feeling that you're not good enough, or, you're not...
Just feel like you're coming up short.
Yeah. Is to know, or if you're frustrated with somebody or somebody else coming up short, is mm-hmm. to remember that, God created us all, and that no matter what, he loves us. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, he loves us.
Absolutely. He definitely does. So, all right. I think it's a great start to the new year, great start to the new JOJ. Again, one more time to mention God's Purpose for Your Life, Charles Stanley. That's mm-hmm. our new book for this year. Come back and join us next week.